These are the shocking events that turned golf's golden girl into the most controversial player on tour in just 48 hours. Nelly Korda went from celebrating her first win in 14 months to becoming the target of massive fan outrage, all because of one canceled tournament and one devastating announcement that has the entire LPGA world in chaos. Let me take you through what just happened at the HGV Tournament of Champions in Orlando, and why Nelly's response has players, fans, and sponsors absolutely furious. Picture this. It's February 1st, 2026, at the beautiful Lake Nona Golf and Country Club in Orlando. The LPGA's season opener has everything going for it. 16 of the top 25 players in the world, a $2.1 million purse, and perfect conditions for the first 3 days. Nelly Korda leads by 3 shots going into Sunday's final round, sitting pretty at 13 under par after firing a brilliant 64 on Saturday. Then everything went sideways. Sunday morning arrives, and yes, it's cold in Florida. We're talking freezing temperatures, something pretty unusual for Central Florida in February. But here's where it gets interesting and controversial. The LPGA Tour makes a decision that sends shockwaves through the golf world. They're canceling the entire final round. Just like that, no golf. Tournament over. Nelly Korda wins without hitting a single shot on Sunday. Now you might think, okay, if it's that cold, maybe it makes sense. But here's what makes this whole situation absolutely insane. The celebrities and amateurs in the field, they got sent out to play a reduced 9-hole final round that very same Sunday morning. Annika Sorenstam, the 10-time major winner and Lake Nona resident, had actually went out and played in these supposedly unplayable conditions. Annika was confused as hell about why the professionals weren't playing. In fact, she told reporters, "I don't know why they're not playing. There's pitch marks. I mean, I hit some crispy shots today and the ball even stopped. I'm surprised. It's difficult, it's cold, but it's as fair as anything." So let me get this straight. The amateurs can play 9 holes in these conditions, but the best female golfers in the world can't handle 18 holes. The same conditions that Annika Sorenstam described as difficult but fair. The golf world exploded. Fans were absolutely livid. Social media lit up with criticism. Even LPGA professionals started questioning the decision. Danielle Kang, who knows a thing or two about tough playing conditions, openly questioned the quick decision to shorten the event. Golf fans were confused and very much not happy with the LPGA's decision to just punt on the final round. And honestly, who could blame them? These are professional athletes who've played in far worse conditions throughout their careers. The LPGA's explanation? They said it wasn't an optimal competitive environment. They worried about player injuries due to the way the record overnight low temperatures had hardened the course. But remember, the forecast showed it would get above 40 degrees by Sunday afternoon. It's absolutely playable temperature with zero concern for course conditions. The optics were terrible. 8 players hadn't even finished their 3rd rounds when play got suspended Saturday evening due to the weather moving in. Those 8 players were allowed to finish Sunday afternoon before the final round got officially canceled. But by then, the damage to the LPGA's reputation was done. 3 days later, LPGA Commissioner Craig Kessler had to issue a public apology. This wasn't just a standard corporate non-apology. This was a full mea culpa that basically admitted they screwed up royally. Kessler wrote, "When I joined the LPGA last July, I said trust would be our highest priority. This weekend at the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament of Champions, that trust was tested. I made the decision to limit the event to 54 holes, worried that our athletes might be injured given the way record overnight low temperatures hardened the course. While the decision was tough and ran counter to prior statements we shared, I made a judgment call. With the benefit of hindsight, there were clearly other ways we should have managed the situation." He continued, "I recognize this decision, and others we made in real time were confusing and disappointing to our fans. Our communication around the decision wasn't clear or timely enough. Your frustration is valid. I own that, and I'm sorry." That's about as close to "we completely botched this" as you'll ever see from a major sports commissioner. But here's where this story takes an even more dramatic turn. Instead of laying low and letting the controversy blow over, Nelly Korda dropped a bombshell announcement that has made the situation 10 times worse. She's taking a 6-week break from golf. 6 weeks. That means she's skipping the entire Asian swing, the Honda LPGA Thailand, the HSBC Women's World Championship, and the Blue Bay LPGA. She won't play again until the Fortinet Founders Cup in California on March 19th. Now, on the surface, you might think this sounds reasonable. She just came off a brutal 2025 season where she went completely winless for the first time in years. She's dealing with lingering injuries, neck problems, migraines, and other issues that have plagued her for months. After winning 7 tournaments in 2024 and then going winless in 2025 despite making every single cut, maybe she needs the rest. But here's what's got everyone absolutely furious. This isn't just any break. This continues a pattern that's becoming increasingly problematic for the LPGA Tour and its global growth. Nelly Korda hasn't played an LPGA tournament in Asia since the 2023 Maybank Championship. Let that sink in for a moment. The number 2 player in the world, the biggest American star on tour, hasn't competed in Asia in over 2 years. She's now skipped 16 consecutive Asian events, whether due to injury or personal choice. Add these upcoming 3 tournaments, and we're looking at 19 straight Asian events without Nelly Korda. The business implications are staggering. Sponsors pay premium rates expecting to see the biggest stars. Asian fans buy tickets hoping to watch their heroes compete. Television broadcasters negotiate deals based on star power and attendance. When the tour's biggest American draw consistently skips entire continents, it undermines the global growth strategy that the LPGA desperately needs. One fan perfectly captured the frustration. When your top American chooses not to play for 7 weeks at the start of the season, one would think the LPGA would ask why and consider making some changes if possible. Another wrote, "This is a major issue for the LPGA. Impossible to build momentum stateside when the schedule quickly moves to Asia." The criticism goes beyond just disappointed fans. There are real financial consequences here. Sponsors like Honda, HSBC, and Blue Bay invest millions in these tournaments, partly because they expect marquee players to show up. When the biggest draws consistently skip their events, it devalues their investment and makes it harder for the LPGA to negotiate future deals. For younger players on tour, this gets even more frustrating. Prize purses shrink when star power is lacking. Media coverage decreases when the biggest names aren't competing. International television audiences drop when local fans don't have global superstars to root for or against. But Nelly's defenders are pushing back hard against the criticism. They point out that she's earned the right to manage her schedule however she wants. With 16 LPGA Tour victories, 2 major championships, an Olympic gold medal, and over 100 weeks as world number 1, she's proven herself at the highest level. They also highlight her recent health struggles. In 2022, she missed significant time with a blood clot in her arm that required surgery. Last season, she dealt with debilitating migraines and neck spasms that were so severe she could only find relief by sleeping in a dark room. She was even bitten by a dog during the season and needed recovery time. One supporter argued she's Nelly Korda. She can do as she pleases. She's earned it. Being selective after serious health issues isn't entitlement. It's a strategic choice. And there's some merit to this perspective. Professional golf is incredibly demanding physically and mentally. Players travel over 79,000 miles per year if they compete in every event, with an average distance of nearly 3,000 miles between tournaments. The constant travel, time zone changes, and pressure to perform at the highest level takes a serious toll. Nelly herself has been open about the mental stress. The first tournament of the season is always tough. I would say by this time of the year, my body is definitely worn down. I do have some injuries I've had in the past that kind of linger, that are never really fully resolved, that you still do physiotherapy on every single day. But here's what makes the situation so much more complicated than a simple health and wellness decision. The timing couldn't be worse for the LPGA Tour, which is trying to establish itself as a truly global sport. The tour just announced a record prize fund of over $132 million for 2026, but that growth depends heavily on international expansion and television deals. When the biggest American star consistently skips major international markets, it sends a message that those markets aren't important enough to prioritize. It also creates a dangerous precedent. If Nelly can skip entire continents without consequences, what stops other top players from doing the same? The tour could quickly find itself with watered-down fields in key markets, making it harder to grow the game globally. The controversy is also highlighting broader issues with the LPGA schedule. Nelly has been vocal about problems with how tournaments get bunched together, particularly the major championships. She told reporters, "Where I would love to see improvements, obviously, is the majors. I feel like they're really bunched up." This speaks to a larger challenge the LPGA faces in balancing player welfare with business needs. Unlike the PGA Tour, which has the luxury of primarily North American tournaments, the LPGA depends on global events to maximize prize money and exposure. But that global schedule creates travel burdens that some players simply aren't willing to accept. Adding another layer to this controversy is Nelly's recent criticism of the new women's TGL League. When Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy announced a separate women's version instead of integrating women into the main TGL, Nelly was scathing in her response. Once she told reporters, "I think it's a huge and unbelievable miss that we're not playing alongside the men. There's no greater way to grow the game, and it would have been revolutionary. It would have been the first time that men and women were on the same playing field, playing for the same amount of money." This criticism, combined with her decision to skip major international events, paints a picture of a player who wants equality and recognition for women's golf, but isn't willing to do the global promotional work that helps build that recognition. So, where does this leave us? Nelly Korda won her first tournament in 14 months, under controversial circumstances, then immediately announced a break that continues a troubling pattern of skipping international events. And the LPGA is trying to balance supporting player welfare while building a global brand. Fans are frustrated with both the tournament cancellation and the perceived entitlement of skipping major markets. The truth is, this controversy reveals the growing pains of women's professional golf. The sport is at a crossroads where individual player power is increasing, but the tour still depends heavily on star power to drive growth and revenue. When those two forces clash, you get situations like this where nobody ends up happy. What happens next will be crucial for both Nelly's reputation and the LPGA's global strategy. Will her break help her return refreshed and dominant, justifying the decision? Or will the continued absence from international markets damage both her brand and the tour's growth prospects? One thing is certain. The next time Nelly Korda tees it up in 6 weeks, all eyes will be watching to see if this controversial break pays off or if the backlash continues to grow. For a player who dominated 2024 and struggled through 2025, 2026 is shaping up to be the most important year of her career, both on and off the course.